All right, see if it came back up. See if we back live. Okay, we back up. All right, let me share that. Let me share that. Let's see. We good? All right, yeah, we good. Bet. All right. So apparently, you understand, the powers that be ain't like the information that was coming out. You understand? So, all right, so we're gonna get back to it. All right. So what we was talking about, you understand, was what was going on during the time of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. You understand? If you don't comply, you die. You understand? That is what's happening right now. You understand? That's what's coming. So during martial law, as he read, you understand, in the book of Daniel, all right, so verse 7, when it says, therefore at that time, when the people heard the sound of the cornet or the flute, the harp, the sackbut, the psaltery, and all kinds of music, and all the people and the nations and the language fell down and worshiped the golden calf. You understand? Verse 6 says, and whosoever falleth not down and worship the same hour be cast into the fiery furnace. You understand? That's the same thing that's going to happen during martial law. If you do not comply, you will die. You know what I'm saying? If you are caught outside after curfew, you die. If you have an unlawful assembly, you die. You understand? And you think the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge that we're not going to keep, you understand, our holy convocations, you crazy in your head. But in that day, that will be an unlawful assembly. Just like Quanaz brought out, just like during the coronavirus, they had people that had CIs that were reporting on us during the coronavirus. Had cops coming up to the door when we were having class, like, hey, are you guys 6 feet apart inside of the class? Are you guys are you guys masked up? You understand? When they put that edict out that you're not allowed to have an unlawful assembly, I don't think they have a permit for the Feast of First Fruits. I don't think that falls in line for lawful assembly. It's 3,000 of them gathered for Passover. I don't think that permit calls for a lawful assembly. It's gonna be like that dude on Belly. Like, I don't like that ish. I'm gonna drop a dime on them. You understand? That is the CIs. You understand? The counterintelligence to stop violence. Because the scripture says that oppression makes a wise man mad and a gift destroys the heart. All right, let's get back to it.
Okay, so I'm on verse 11.
You on verse 11? All right, let me pull it up for him. Boom, boom, boom. All right, go ahead.
And whoso, this is the book of Daniel, chapter 3, verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth, that he should be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Verse 12. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Mm-hmm.
These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up.
Mm-hmm.
Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
You understand? And that's what we were talking about last class. You understand? They're gonna bring you before the council. You understand? And it's not gonna be your enemies. It's gonna be your people. It's gonna be your mama. You understand? Because they think by turning you in, A, they're doing the will of God, and B, they're going to be able to get rations for their household. Remember, I told you, Water is going to be the new currency. You understand? Water, MREs. You understand? Because when the lights go out and that EMP hit, everything that's in the grocery store is only going to be able to be good for 7 days. You understand? Ramen going to be the top ramen that we've been eating all these years. That's going to be a delicacy. You understand? Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That's going to be a delicacy. You understand? Sardines in the can. Boy, that's going to be salmon. Mackerel. That's going to be salmon. You understand what I'm saying? Pinto beans, black beans, boy, that's going to be steak. You understand? This is what's coming. Keep reading.
Come. They brought these men before the king.
Mm-hmm.
Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Verse 15. Now, if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace.
Now, understand what's going on here, right? If word got out that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego defied the king, what you think gonna happen? An uprising, violence, defiance. You understand? A rebellion. You understand? Just like when they put up martial law, you understand? What do you think is going to happen when they find out everybody got to be inside? Oh, but these dudes dressed in strange Western apparel, 3,000 of them just gathered to keep Passover. They can't let that go unchecked. You understand? Because if they don't, an uprising is going to happen. And this is how they subdue violence. They stop violence through black nationalism by creating laws that give them the right to kill you. You understand? I don't know where the video cut off, but I gave the analogy with Philando Castile. You understand? Philando Castile had a license to carry. I mean, he went to the class. You understand? He learned the protocols when you have a license to carry. When you get pulled over, you tell them that you have a concealed carry license. The next thing the cop is going to ask you, do you have any weapons in the car? Philando Castile said, no, sir, I do not have any weapons in the car, but I do have a license to carry. You understand? As soon as he told him that, his hand was on his hip. You understand? And then he said, reach for your I want you to get your license and registration, please. He said, okay, sir, I'm reaching for my license and registration. As soon as he reached for it, you understand? Keep your hands where I can see him. Keep your hand where I can see him. Boom, 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 boom. You understand? And he was dead. Not only could they have killed him, he had his baby girl in the back seat, man. They could have wiped out his whole family. And he complied. He followed the law. He went and got a license to carry. It didn't mean anything. He didn't even have a weapon on him. You understand? He told them that he had a license to carry. They asked him, do you have any weapons? He told them, I have no weapons in the vehicle. They asked him to get his license and registration. He was complying. He reached for his license. Didn't get the opportunity to reach for his wallet. They used that to say, I was in threat for my life to kill another nigga. That's what these laws are in place for. That's what the laws were in place during Judas Maccabeus' time. That's what the laws were in place for during Daniel and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego's time. You understand? Their laws are contoured specifically for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We saw that, you understand, in First Maccabees. It said it was for the Israelites, but the edict was sent out to all the nations. You understand? This law was for the Israelites, but it was sent out to all the nations that were under the rule of Nebuchadnezzar, because they know that we are going to follow the law. They called us a rebellious nation. That's because the law says that we are to bend the knee to no man. Right. You understand? Keep reading.
And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hand?
You understand? Don't that sound like Pharaoh? Moses, who was a Messiah, you understand? He was a Mashiach. He was anointed to deliver his people. He went to Pharaoh in his face and said, the Lord our God said for you to let my people go so that they can go and serve me. Pharaoh said, who is this God that I should listen to? It's the same thing that Nebuchadnezzar is saying. Who is this God that I should listen to? You understand? Keep reading.
Verse 16. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter.
You understand? You hear what he said? You know what I'm saying? Basically, he said, what's your boy? What's the president's name? I don't even know. What's his name? Biden. Yeah. Old Biden. You understand? We do not, you understand, pacify or curt our language in any way by saying you are not our authority. You understand? The most high power, Yahweh, is our authority. You understand? These boys were as bold as a lion. You understand? And they were in the mouth of a wolf to be killed. You understand? He said, "O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter." Let me tell you what the business is, partner. You understand? Keep reading. Just like that's just how Mordecai was when you came up against old boy that tried to hang all the Israelites with Esther. You understand? Let me tell you the business, partner. You understand? Keep reading.
Come. If it be so, our power, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image without which thou hast set up.
Mm-hmm. You understand? Like the scripture says, he that endured to the end, the same shall be saved. But you have to be willing to be faithful unto death. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego knew by them saying this, it sealed their fate. But they had faith in a power that was not only greater than them, but greater than the king, who was God in that land. You understand? He said one word, people die. That's just like the president of the United States, Biden. Biden say one word, sign one decree, people die. The governor of any state pass any statute like stop and frisk, niggas, Hispanics, and Native Americans die. You understand what I'm saying? Keep reading.
Come, verse 19. Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
You know what I'm saying? You know what visage is? Look that word up. Somebody look up visage for me. You know what I'm saying? Visage. You know what I'm saying? Visage. It said, and the form of his visage was changed. What that word mean?
space with reference,
It's on. Go ahead.
the form or
You understand? So basically what they're saying is that boy's face smile went to a frown that was upside down. You understand? Because he thought for sure by telling them to their face with the furnace in front of them, when this chime sound, if you don't get down on your knees and bow down to my likeness, you gonna die. He thought that was enough to get them to conform. They said, "O king, we do not hesitate to respond to you in this manner." Basically, it's like, hey, let me tell you something, partner. Say, homeboy, our power, Yahweh, is greater than you. That's the only person that we bow down to. You understand? They were in the face of death. You understand? That's what America was. What don't Americans say? Give me liberty or give me death. You understand? That's the spirit that you gotta have against your enemy. But you have to know who you are. Like the third protocol they put in place was to stop violence. Violence is coming against America on the behalf of black nationalism. When I say black nationalism, hear me. I mean blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Because during that time, it was the Blue Berets who were the Hispanics. You understand? It was the CLC, the Black Panthers. You understand? The Nation of Islam, which were black people. You understand? And then they had ties with the Native Americans that were on the reservation. So when I say black nationalism, this is what I'm talking about. You understand? You have to know who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, how do you know who to fight? You understand? That's why we got Crips going up against Bloods, GDs against Vice Lords. You understand? Drug dealers killing drug dealers, wiping out whole families on blocks. Because you have a zeal is just not according to knowledge. Because you don't know who your enemy is. You're actually wiping out your army. Right. You understand? Half of our army is locked up in prison because they killed their allies. Or they sold drugs to weaken their allies. You understand? Half of our army, or 3/4 of our army, is either locked up, homosexual, or strung out on dope. You understand? Go ahead, brother.
Or they strung out on that Christianity.
Or they strung out on that spiritual dope, that Christianity. You understand? That's dopamine if I ain't never seen it. They sell dopamine by the bottles in service. You understand? I love you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to understand the conditions of your deliverance is warfare. You have to fight for your right to have a kingdom. But the only way that you can do that, you have to know who you are. Then you have to know whose you are. You understand? Then you have to align with your people. That's why we have shirts and banners that say this slogan in the UPK, brotherhood is a weapon, because it's a strong defense. It literally says that in the Bible. A friend is a strong defense. It's a strong defense against poverty. If you're homeless, you got shelter because a friend is a strong defense. If you're hungry, you have food because a friend is a strong defense. If you're homeless, you have shelter. If you're dying of thirst, you have water. You understand? If somebody's coming to kill you, you have protection because a friend is a strong defense. But if the scripture says that my people perish for lack of knowledge. If you don't have the knowledge, you're going to die, or you're going to kill the only friends you have. The only friends of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You understand? And I know it's Northern and Southern Kingdom against Northern and Southern Kingdom, just like it was in antiquity. Because you got niggas that hate Hispanics, and you got Hispanics that hate niggas. You got Native Americans that hate both niggas and Hispanics. You understand? That should further let you know that we are the people that are in the Bible. We've been banging on each other since we came out of Jerusalem. It's been north side against south side. That's how it is in every hood across America. That's how it is in every barrio in South, Central, and Mesoamerica. That's how it is in every hood in the UK. North side against south side. My side, F your side. You banging on your army. But the crazy thing is, we have the same condition of oppression. I speak English, I'm not from England. You speak Spanish, you're not from Spain. We have the same conditions of warfare, but you taking out your brother. You taking out your sister. You setting up your brother. You setting up your sister. Because you are destroyed by lack of knowledge. Because the scripture says, oppression makes a wise man mad. In order for you to know you're oppressed, you have to know who you are. You understand? Because we're in a state of oppression, but like little sis know, they pack it out for brunch every weekend. You understand? They turn up every weekend. Like you not a slave. Like you not working 70 hours for a minimum wage. And you still can't keep the lights on. You understand? Your baby suffering because they parents not at home because you trying to juggle keeping the lights on and the roof over their head, and they getting raised by the streets. They getting raised by Walt Disney. And I don't know if y'all know, Walt Disney just came out with an edict. Well, they got exposed 3 days ago. Their homosexual agenda, you understand, was exposed. They had a Zoom conference call, you understand, with the heads of Disney. One of the heads was a black woman. She says, I put queerness in everything so much. I was like, oh, they're not looking. I'm put queer here, I'm queer here, queer everywhere. That's literally what she said. They're out here to destroy you. You understand? Crafty counsel. So that you don't get knowledge of self. Because what does knowledge do? It lets you know that you're in oppression. And oppression makes a wise man mad. But that second part of that scripture is what we're dealing with right now. A gift destroys the heart. The heart of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans is destroyed by WIC. It's destroyed by Section 8. You understand? It's destroyed by food stamps. Because if I can get food and shelter and I don't have to have a man, what I need a man for? I'm independent. You know what I'm saying? I got a $350,000 house and I'm only paying $300 a month for it. Go ahead. You have something you want to say, brother?
I just wanted to make a clip on one time that you are definitely dependent. Your husband's just your oppressor. That's all it is. When you put your black man out, the father of your kids, to move that WIC and that Section 8 in, your man, you just got another man that's not there.
That's it. Get that brother hand. You understand? That brother said you are trading one oppressor for another oppressor. You understand? But the power that's meant over you to be your husband, at least you know what you're going through. He'll be merciful. He'll have grace. He'll have love. He'll have empathy. You understand? The government, if you miss one bylaw on Section 8, you kicked out. Like, you're literally like this is supposed to be meant for you to get back on your feet. If you make more money than you made when you filled out the application, it doesn't matter if it's 50 cents. If you got a 50-cent raise at your job, you'll be kicked out of your home and you have to reapply. So it's better that you have no job and no man. So the government or the governed man, you understand, your new governed man can rule over you. He your new daddy. You know what I'm saying? Just like how you be like, hey Poppy, hey Daddy. How you tell your husband? That's what you're saying to the government. Uncle Sam. How you want it, Uncle? How you need it, Uncle? Whatever you say, Uncle. You understand? Go ahead.
They fight violently for that man too. They're not gonna let you do nothing to come in between them and that man.
Don't you get me kicked out of my house.
Yeah, for sure.
You understand? Bruh.
Nah, y'all can come over here. But they won't be that for a black man.
And you know the crazy part is, like, Isupk, you understand? He'll move the whole block in his house from Mexico. It'll be 5 families in one multi-family house, just so everybody can get a chance. You understand? Like, I had the opportunity of working with this one Hispanic brother. You understand? He told me, what we do, hermano, listen to me, hermano. That's how he talks to hermano. You understand? What we do, we get 5 families in one house. You know what I'm saying? Everybody working together. Bills cheap, real cheap. You understand? Then what they do is they buy a house on a street that got like a whole bunch of empty lots. You know what I'm saying? They stay in these houses that these neighborhoods that got the ditches. You know what I'm saying? And they gotta have their own septic tanks in their yard. You know what I'm saying? So what they do is they all stay in this house, then they go and buy the property that's next door with all the money. All right. Then what happens is half the families in that house move into that house. They still working together. You understand? Then they buy another piece of land on the same street. You understand? Then half the families in this house, half the families in this house, move into that house. So now you got maybe 2 families in each house. You understand? And then by the time it's all said and done, within 10 years, they own that whole street. And everything is paid for. All the cars is paid for because they all work together. You understand? And best believe they all mechanics, so you don't got to worry about the cars breaking down. They gonna fix them. You understand? But you're afraid to come together. You understand? What happened when you turn 18 in your mama's house? What'd she say? He say, either you're going to college, you're going to the military. Either way, you're getting the hell up out my house. You don't even know who you are, what you want to do, where you want to go. You understand? And this is the crazy part is, it's mama's house. When you go visit your grandparents, what you say? We going to grandma's house. Granddaddy right there. Even though granddaddy working 70, 80 hours a week for this house that y'all call grandma house. We going to mama house. Go ahead.
Like I'm still like that just blows because I never realized that growing up. Like I'm gonna go to my mama house. Like my daddy right there.
Right there.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
And you know he be busting his butt to keep the lights on. You know what I'm saying? Or an A-sign shit. I'm Salaki, I'm going to my T Jones crib. You know what I'm saying? That's reality. Because you bind the strong man, you can take the house. Because you've been saying, I'm going to mama house all this time. Now daddy ain't there no more. So it's really mama's house. You raised in a single mother household. But it didn't take two to make the baby. Like, you not raising child support every moment that you get to oppress the man that's supposed to be in the household. You understand? I've seen men relegated to living in studio apartments. You understand? While they baby mama and they child living in $350,000, $400,000 homes. It's not because that brother don't have a good job. It's because that brother knows for every raise that he gets, she getting more money. So he's relegated to live in an apartment so she can live in a house. Sound like that black man is still sacrificing for his family. But that's still mama's house. Remember what I said, the conditions of your deliverance is warfare. The deliverance of the black family is going to be warfare. You understand? You have to fight the mindset, sisters, of I don't need a man. I can do it all by myself. You can't. Because I'm going to tell you right now, when martial law come down, or that EMP hit, and you going out here, you trying to get some water, you're going to get robbed. They're going to knock you over your head and leave you for dead over water, over ramen. And you going to wish you had that nigga that you was on child support. You going to wish you had toxic masculinity. You understand? Because at that point, your protection, your children's protection is going to be paramount. It's going to be quintessential. You understand? And you're going to wish you had that strong man that they bounded to take the house. You understand? Because when they knock you upside your head, 9 times out of 10, they're going to rape you. And they probably going to rape and kill the kids too. Because they're disgusting. That's what's coming. Violence. But the only way for you to have peace, it starts right here with mental warfare. The only way you change is by the renewing of your mind. That's how Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was able to stand up to Nebuchadnezzar in the face of death. The renewing of their mind. They knew that their power was greater than them and that king. Let's get back to it. Keep reading.
Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times.
What verse you at?
Verse 19.
Go ahead.
7 times more than it was wont to be heated. In verse 20. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Then these men.
Hold on. So, not only are they going to deliver you up to council, they're going to bind you. They're going to throw you in jail. This is prophecy. You understand? This is what he said that was going to happen. The things that were written aforetime are for our learning, is for our understanding. You understand? You'd be a fool to think if that spirit did that to our ancestors during the time that they were oppressed, going into a point of deliverance, you'd be a fool to think that it's not going to happen to you. You understand? How many times have you seen a black man or a black woman handcuffed and killed? in cuffs. George Floyd was in handcuffs, face down on the ground, with a knee on his neck for 18 minutes and 24 seconds. He complied and he died. The same thing that they're doing to them, they're doing to us now. But you think, because you got hands, that you can run up on a man. You think, because you got guns, you can run up on a man. You think, because you comply, you can get along with the man. Hell, the civil rights movement should have taught you better than that. You understand? Martin Luther King was non-violent. They still turned the hoses and the dogs on him. They still beat him with billy clubs. You understand? Malcolm X was militant. He's dead now. You understand? Stokely Carmichael was militant. He's in exile now. Elijah Muhammad was militant. He's dead now. So how is your version of fight the power different from their version of fight the power? How is your version of black power different from their version of black power? If they all died, what do you think is going to happen to you, new Black Panther Party? Guess you didn't learn from your daddy. You were literally there when your daddy died. Yeah, he's the new head of the Black Panther Party. What do you think is going to happen? But could it be the way to fight the power is with the power? Because the scripture says, the Lord said that what? Vengeance is what? Mine, said the Lord. It's basically like you getting beat up and bullied on the block by the drug dealers on the way home every day. And your daddy's saying, don't worry about it, son. I'm going to take care of it. Don't worry about it, son. I'm going to take care of it. But every day you come home, you want to pick a fight with him because you know your daddy going to come to the rescue. And every day that you come home with a black eye, a broke nose, you understand, with your garments tethered and torn, your daddy say, what I told you. Didn't I tell you I was going to handle it? Now look at you. Broken, bleeding, beaten. When I told you that I'm going to handle it, you have no faith. You Christians have no faith. You Muslims have no faith. Because all of y'all tried to physically fight the power. But in the truth, we fight the power with the power. Because he said that vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. And he said, first we're going to send the fishermen and then the quinasium, the hunters. We coming. But on the Lord's time, not your time. Right now, we need to be gathering our army together, our resources together. You understand? And under Commanding General YAHANNA, this is that army. You understand? The rank and an order is in place. The protocols are set. The provisions are made. But just like with Martin Luther King, he wanted to do his own thing. Malcolm X didn't want to be under Elijah Muhammad. He wanted to do his own thing. Just like with Marcus Garvey, he wanted to start off and go back to Africa and do his own thing. Stokely Carmichael was under Martin Luther King. He wanted to do his own thing. All of them are either dead or exiled, or their movement is gone. John Africa in Philadelphia with the movement tried to do his own thing. They bombed a whole neighborhood just to make sure that they took them out. And those that survived are still in prison now as political refugees right now in Philadelphia. But you still want to fight the power physically. How about we try it spiritually, like he said? Because John Africa and the movement, they follow the Bible, but they didn't believe in the Bible. You understand? Martin Luther King followed the Bible, but he didn't believe in the Bible because he started following the practice of Mahatma Gandhi with nonviolence. Nowhere in the Bible does it say to be nonviolent. But we are not perpetrators of the violence, but we will defend ourselves. You understand? We will defend ourselves. Like the eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth is there for a reason, but it wasn't meant to be against your own people. It was meant to be for the enemies of your people. You understand? They take out one of yours, you take out two of theirs. But the Lord said that he's going to do it. The time is speeding up for that reason. That's why the days are getting shorter. Months feel like weeks. Years feel like months. Like in my mind, I swear 2019 was yesterday. Like before coronavirus, but when coronavirus, it's like time went on crack, man. It's like it just sped up. And it's getting like we're about to go into summertime. Do you realize that? I mean, it's the beginning of the year for us, but due to the Gregorian calendar, like we 2 months away from summertime, half the year gone already. What have you been doing with your time? How have you been preparing? Do you have 3 months of rations for your family? Probably not. Do you have a storehouse of water? Probably not. Do you have a community to defend your resources? Probably not. Do you know how to do agriculture in the wilderness? Probably not. Do you know how to get fresh water out of a swamp or a mangrove or a river? Probably not. But you ready for war? You ready to fight the power? You don't know what it's like to be without electricity for 2 weeks. You don't know what it's like to go without food for even a day or water. You don't know what it's like to be living in a tent in the wilderness. When the last time you been camping? How many of y'all own tents? See, I tell you, you want to know who are prepared? Homeless people. They prepared. They literally got tent villages. They are prepared. They are nomadic people. They know how to survive. You know how to die. And that's what's going to happen. Because just like Malcolm, just like Elijah Muhammad, just like Marcus Garvey, just like Stokely Carmichael, you want to do it on your own. That's the reason why the black household is destroyed now. Beyonce, where are all my single ladies? Put your hands up. Because you want to be independent. You want to do it on your own. The crazy part is all these so-called independent women, they become cougars. And they prey on younger men because they miss their opportunity for a family. And they have no one to keep their bed warm at night. So they jump from young man to young man because they have become monsters in our community. You understand? It only takes a couple of drops to poison the well. And that is what has poisoned our community because we are docile and we lack the gumption and the capacity to fight like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the face of tyranny. You can't even hold down your household. How you think you're gonna hold down a nation? How you think if you don't have the discipline to fight for your house, to fight for your family, to be a father, to be a mother, to be a son, to be a daughter, how do you think you're gonna have the discipline to go up against the U.S. military or Russia when they invade America? How? Because the conditions of your deliverance is going to take warfare. It starts here first, the battle for the mind. That's why they keep you caught up in social media, distracted. That's why you don't even have to go to the movies anymore for you to be distracted. All these TV shows so you can be distracted. When the last time you were still, like scripture says, be still and know that I am God? When's the last time you prayed? When's the last time you fasted? And we're not talking about what they call the Daniel fast, 6 to 6, fruits and vegetables. I'm talking about when the last time you went 24, 48 hours without water and food. When the last time you done that? See, that takes discipline. That takes strength. It takes a power outside of yourself that you have to call on because you're not going to make it on your own strength. It takes prayer, right? Because Christ said that only certain demons will be cast out with prayer and fasting. But you don't have faith in your power because you want to fight the power. But he said that the weapons that we have aren't carnal. When we went to war, the angels went to war with us. And then the Most High and the angels would tell Gideon, you got too many numbers in your army. Tell some of them to stay back. Oh, you at the water hole? You got about 1,000 soldiers too many with you, Gideon. Tell some of them to stay back. Gideon went to war with 300 against 10,000 and won. Because he didn't fight the power. He had the power. The power was with him. But it takes obedience. Listening to a voice tell you to get rid of 20,000 men and dwindling it down to 300 to go against 10,000. Are you insane? It takes discipline. It's just like fasting. It takes discipline. Right now, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we don't have the discipline to fight because of protocol number 3 of COINTELPRO. Counterintelligence to docile our community to stop the insertion of violence. So instead of violence against your enemy, it's violence against your brother, violence against your sister. Keep reading. Oh, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Like I just want to say that make much more sense now why they push like the marijuana agenda.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All the Percocets and the lean, and you know what I'm saying? They still make this stuff knowing that it's coming into our communities, but that stuff keeps us calm. You know what I'm saying? It takes our mind.
How can you fight rolling on ecstasy?
Right.
How can you fight high off marijuana? Shit, you could probably barely breathe.
Right.
You understand? How can you fight on Percocets? How can you fight being a drunk and an alcoholic? You can't even fight your flesh. How can you fight being a whore? How can you fight being a whoremonger? You can't even fight your own lust and your desires. You think you have the discipline to go up against the United States military, Russia, Ukraine? Nigga, please. You don't even have the discipline to fight your own brain. No sweat. Let's get back to it.
Come. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 3, verse 21.
Mm-hmm.
Then these men were bound in their coats and their hosen and their hats and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
You know what I'm saying? That's just exactly like what happened to those that followed Hanan that went up against Moses. You understand? The sinkhole swallowed them, but the 200 people that were following them, they bursted into flames. It's a spontaneous combustion. You understand? Anybody that comes up against the Lord, you gonna catch the fire. Oh, it's collateral damage. Don't think just because you didn't have the gun in your hand that killed him, but you set him up though. You made the phone call to make sure that he was there so that they can go in, not only rob, but kill him. Oh, you gonna catch it too. Those that deliver you up to the council thinking that they doing the will of God, oh, they gonna get it too. Those are the ones in the last days when Christ comes back and say, I served and delivered many on your behalf in your name. When Christ said, get away from me, I never knew thee. Matter of fact, bring him hither and slay him before me. In my resurrected body, I'm going to come. See? Matter of fact, I hope he give me the Vegeta blast so I can be like, goodbye. You know what I'm saying? And he's just obliterated. Because the nigga that stabbed Christ in the side, right. Oh, he gonna be here when Christ get back. It's in the Bible. So if he ain't getting away, what make you think those that deliver us up, our own people, for wickedness and evil, do you think they gonna get away? Though that they deliver you up for rations and for water, you think they gonna get away? Oh no. The Lord gonna be like, hey, him right there. Come here, buddy. Come here, man. Hey, Lord. Hey, it's Brother Brian from Ebenezer Baptist Church. You remember me? I went to church every Sunday. I praise your holy name. I was a deacon. I became a pastor. I was the lead singer in the choir when I was a boy. Remember me? Oh, no, buddy. Come here, buddy. Hey, Quinaz. You saw it sharp? Slay him. Quinaz in Hunter fashion is going to shake. And just for good measure, he might hack you one more time. But that's how it's going to be. Those that you think are holy are evil. And those of you that think are evil are holy. That's the crazy part. Because the people that you downtrodden, the homeless, the ex-cons, the ex-felons, those are the people that you praise in the Bible. Elijah, he was homeless. Elisha, he was homeless. Obadiah, he was homeless. Hosea, he was homeless. Jonah, he was homeless. Joseph, ex-con. Christ, ex-con. Paul, ex-con. Peter, ex-con. Mattathias, also known as Matthew Bartholomew, ex-con. Hell, Stephen was sentenced to death after he was in prison, ex-con. John, the brother of Christ, ex-con. You understand? Abraham, killer. For show. For show, for show. You understand? For show, for show. For show. You understand what I'm saying? David, killer. For show, for show. You understand what I'm saying? Daniel, ex-con. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, sentenced to death, ex-cons. These are people that you praise in the Bible, but you look down upon every day in life. Guess what? They're all in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge.
Right.
Your ex-drug dealers in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. You understand? Your ex-drug addicts in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Your ex-cons in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Ex-killers in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Everybody that you praise in the Bible is in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Where are you? Oh, I know you John the Baptist. You want to do your own thing. Just like Martin, just like Malcolm. You understand? The water, brother. You understand? Just like Stokely. Just like Marcus Garvey. But where are they? Just like Elijah Muhammad, but where is he? They all dead in the grave or exiled. Just like John Africa, dead in the grave. All of his followers, political prisoners. Just like Tupac auntie, Miss Shakur, in the Black Panthers, the one that shot the white cop, trying to fight the power. She's in exile in Cuba. I'm talking about every president been trying to get her since Nixon. That's on their top to-do list to get her. Because she got away with killing one of them. It ain't even under their watch. Go ahead, brother.
Michael, but they say just it was so long ago though.
It was so long ago.
Why you worried about it? That's the past.
You know what I'm saying?
Just forget it.
Like, just forget it. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? They won't forget the Alamo. They won't forget Geronimo. They won't forget 9/11, Desert Storm, Vietnam. So you think they gonna let Sister Shakur get away with killing one cop? Nigga, please. They tried to get Tupac for killing a cop. You understand? But you have them dead to rights. Follow the law. They got him another way, though. They got him on rape charges, so-called. You understand what I'm saying? Every time you try and fight the power, they're going to kill you. Every time that you so quote-unquote comply without righteousness, they're going to kill you. So the only way that you can physically fight the power is with the power. So Shadrach and Meshach and Abednego found out. Let's get through it. We got 5 minutes. Let's gonna get through it.
Come, sir. Verse 24, verse 23. And these three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace.
Mm-hmm.
Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished, and rose up in haste and spake, and said unto his counselors, Did we not cast three men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, O king. He answered and said, Lo, I see four men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the fourth is like the son of the power.
You understand? Like, understand this. Just like with Job. Job said, He maketh the way for me. When I perceive him on the left hand, and I look there, he's on the right side, making the way for me. When I look behind me, he's in front of me. See, what you don't understand is that the power is always there. It's always there. It's there for each and every single one of you. It's inside of you. Because your bodies are the temple of the Most High God. He literally dwells in every single one of you. But you got to learn how to pray in your temple. You got to learn how to call on the power in your temple. And it starts with the law, statutes, and commandments. It's the warfare of the mind. How can you battle externally and you haven't learned to tame your demons? See, you already got violence. It's inside of you. You got to wrestle with your flesh every day. Just to make a way in this world. A lot of us been losing that battle. But before we can fight a war out the door, we got to fight it inside these doors. First with yourself. If you got a family within your household, brothers, fight for your wife. Sisters, fight for your husband. Both of you, fight for your children. Because the conditions of your deliverance is warfare. Keep reading.
Come. Verse 26. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High Power, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire, and the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men upon whose body the fire had no power, nor was an hair on their heads singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the power of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who hath sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word, and yielded their bodies, that they might not serve nor worship any god except their own power.
Stop. Because they wouldn't about fight the power. They called on their power. They trusted their power. And in the face of death, their power was with them. They came out that furnace, their garment wouldn't even singe. If you want to learn what happened in that fire, in the Apocrypha, read the story of the three children. Learn what happened in that furnace. The other side, the perspective of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego when the angel rolled upon them. It was like a cool summer breeze in LA. You understand? Walking in that furnace. Not a hair or a hem on their garment was seared. And it changed the face and the spirit of the king. He said, change my mind. Good night. They didn't have to throw a rock in a gunfight. They didn't even have to raise a fist, and the king was humbled by their power. You understand? That's what it says in Psalms 83. You understand? He will not slumber nor sleep. For who? Israel. You understand? And at the end of it, he says, cause it to be known by all that your name is Yahweh, God over all of the earth. That's what's going to happen. Every knee is going to bow and every tongue is going to confess. Matter of fact, give me Revelations 2:9 and we're gonna end it there. 2:9, you're gonna read the 10. Let me put it up on the screen for him. So you know not only the signs of the time, but this is the end times and the conditions of your deliverance, according to when Christ comes back and according to the Most High, is going to be warfare. All right, go ahead. You got to go ahead and read.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich.
You understand? These words are in red. This is Christ talking. He says, I know what you're going through. I know the pain that you in. I know you working 80 hours a week just to make ends meet. I know you fighting to survive. I know the trouble that you in. That they murdering you in the streets like dogs. That you are prey for the beasts of the field. But you are rich. Read.
Come. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan.
He even knows those that took your identity for themselves and said, we are the children of Israel. Like, how dare you to our father? That's like somebody from another hood going in your daddy house, Quinaz, and saying, hey, dad, it's me, Quinaz. Your daddy gonna look at him like, nigga, who is you? This nigga's outside. Daddy, it's me. Hug me. Daddy gonna smack the hell out of him. You not my son. You not my daughter. But you have killed my son to try and take his place. You have murdered and raped my daughter to try and take her place. You are the synagogue of Satan. Keep reading.
Verse 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they got a crown of life. They were faithful unto death. They were thrown into the furnace. And guess who showed up? God. You understand? Hear, O Israel, our God is one. You understand? Shema Yasha'Allah, Yahweh Alana Yahweh Akkad. You understand? Hear, O Israel, our God is one. One God, one power. And yes, you're going to go through it. This is the beginning of sorrows. This is the beginning of the end. But guess what? The conditions of your deliverance is warfare. So you should want this to happen because it's the end. Yes, some of you are going to go to prison. Some of you are going to be offered up to death. But in death, there's a crown of life that no one can take from you. In sacrificing your life, the first death, killing your flesh, there's a crown of life that no one can take from you. Before you can fight outside your doors, you have to fight indoor, the inner man, your flesh. Then you have to fight for your family, fight for your children. Then when you know who you are, you know who your enemies are, you know who your allies are. Remember, a friend is a strong defense. That's what Reaganomics was about. To put the sorcery and witchcraft in the neighborhoods with all of these drugs, to confuse you so you don't know who the enemy is, because you're bewitched in the mind. Because you feel crack got you out the hood. You understand? Anybody that's selling crack, that's your enemy. So you bang on your brother. Both of y'all wrong. Because you weakening our defenses by getting our people high, making us docile. If you smoking weed every day, stop. You becoming docile. You weak. You understand? If you drinking every day, if you an alcoholic, stop. You have become docile. You weak. If you feel that you got to lay with a different woman every weekend, every night, and she's not your wife and you're making her your wife and you have no intention of treating her and keeping her like a wife, stop. You are docile behind your loins. You are weak. Same thing with you sisters. Stop. The battle starts here before you can even try and do anything out there. But remember, it's not about fight the power. It's about calling on the power, and that's Yahweh. With that, we're going to say Amajium, which means to stand. Sar, which means to turn and face the east. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer, first in Hebrew, then in English. Repeat after me. Abednego, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malak Wakah, Taba'ah, Ratazayaka, Hayah, I.S.U.P.K, Baratazah, Kowah, Hayah, Bashamayim, Natalanoah, Aham, Kal, Yawam, Wasalaknoah, Kabawaknoah, Kasalaknoah, Kabawaknoah, Wala'ah, Tabi'ainoah, Manasaya 1, Abal, Hawashai Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha'Allah, Wahata Para, La'awalamium, Aman. In the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Sar, we're going to do a courtesy salute to the brothers and to the sisters, men of Israel. Mighty Shabbat, Majid, Rock, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahshua, Brakatah, Yadibata, Sar, turn to face sister, men of Israel. Mighty Shabbat, Majid, Rock, Yahweh Shema, Ba'ashem, Yahshua, Yadibata, dismiss.